Hey everybody, Adam-Wilber here. Thanks for joining me as always. Sorry for the unshaven face. I just got back very late last night from London. It was an unbelievable experience. So without further ado, we're gonna get right into today's video, which is actually the keynote speech I did for that event. This is my Conjuring Creation keynote that I did with the 360 Lab for their Excite event in London. I hope you take something away from this, and again, thank you for your time and trusting me with some of it.
Hailing from New Hampshire, USA, he is a world-class magician, a keynote speaker, an author, and an inventor. And just imagine, I mean, this guy has invented and sold numerous magic tricks to some of the biggest illusionists in the world. Talk about utilizing and monetizing creativity, right? Now, you might think, hey, a natural-born talent in many areas, in many ways, but he says, creativity is a skill that anyone can master with the right mindset. And creativity is key for fostering innovation within companies, which is, again, crucial for their survival. Enough from my side. Let's bring him on stage, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the one and only Adam-Wilber.
Hey, Adam.
So, leave the stage to you.
Well, let's take 1 second to give him a big round of applause. He's working hard today, right?
Thank you very much.
Great job, man. Great. How's everyone doing? Everyone good? Let's get some energy in this room. I know there's a lot of nerves in here, so let's lighten the mood. Everyone's feeling good? Say yeah. All right, so my name's Adam-Wilber. Like you said, I'm an inventor, I'm a magician, I'm an author, I'm a mentalist. I'm also a father of 2 amazing children, a brother to a pretty cool sister, and a son to 2 amazing parents. So you know what that means, right? Being a mentalist, it means my children get away with nothing, all right? I got 1 leg up on them. So it also means part of my job walking on stage is to try and win my audience over in the first couple minutes, and I'll do that with what I love, which is magic. But before we do, I want to just take a minute to first acknowledge all of the startups. What they're doing is truly impressive. It's truly nerve-wracking, and there's pure passion behind it. But also everybody behind what's happening today, all of the people running the lights, the sounds, the cameras, all of these people have been working super hard for the last couple days. So let's take 1 second to acknowledge them and give them all a round of applause. So with that said, we'll get right into the magic, because I know a majority of you are looking up here going, all right, magic boy, let's see if you're any good. So what I'm going to do is share with you one of my favorite tricks. It uses 3 pieces of rope. These are standard pieces of rope that you would find in any bedroom, any Home Depot in America. Now I know where my people are. Good, good. And I'm going to teach you the difference between illusion and magic. We've got a small piece of rope, we've got a medium piece of rope, and a long piece of rope. I know that inherently it's somewhat hard to trust a magician, so the long piece will come to you, sir. It's coming at you. Make sure it is what it appears to be. The ends are not magnetized, they don't stretch or come apart. Just a piece of rope with some glue on the end so they don't fray. My friend in the middle, that's the medium piece of rope coming at you. And sir, this is not a judge of your character, it's just a small piece of rope, all right? Take a look at that for me. Are they what they appear to be? Perfect. I'll start with the long piece, toss it up here on 3. Or now is fine, thank you. Medium piece, thank you, sir. And short piece. The reason I let you, look at that, huh? Thank you very much. Reason I let you guys look at these is because this is not the rope we use for the trick. No, I'm just kidding. So first, the illusion. The illusion will be that these ropes are the exact same length. Here we go. At this point, I think we can all agree that's a pretty bad illusion, because it's very clear that they're different lengths. Now, if I take the ends and bring them up to the top, and we don't focus on the ends, but we focus on the middles, you'll see the moment this illusion takes hold. Again, poor illusion. But if I take this long middle and I tuck it in, the illusion becomes reality, because your brain sees 6 ends and 3 middles, and your brain will connect the dots. 3 ropes the same length. That's the illusion. Here's the magic. Give it a shake. First the ropes, then the magician. 1 snap, and that becomes 1, 2, 3 pieces the same length. A much more convincing and frustrating illusion. Thank you for the 1 clapping. I appreciate you. I saw you. Thank you. Now I know what the problem is. The problem is we got 3 ropes. You guys got 2 eyes. Totally unfair. I'll get rid of 1 rope altogether, and we'll make it as easy as possible. Just 2. Well, we're all friends now, right? I'm going to make this as simple as possible. We'll use 1 long piece of rope. It's a much better trick that way. Thank you very much. I'll be honest, the trick is not in the rope or the hands, the trick is in the ends of the rope. If I take the ends and blow, they come off. Oh wait, now I got ends with no rope and I got rope with no ends. Yeah, if I'm confused, it means I need to restart. We take the ends, put them back on, blow again, and now you all hate me. All right, perfect, perfect. Now I like to start my tricks the same way they started, which means I need to find the middle of this rope, which should be about here. I use some invisible scissors. I got mine at Walmart in the States. That's 1, 2, and 3 pieces, the exact same length, just like when we started. But that's a lie, right? Because when we started, we had the illusion they were the same length. That reality was we had a short piece of rope, a medium piece of rope, and a long piece of rope. And if I've done my job, that would look like 1 small, 1 medium, and 1 long. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Get rid of those. So we get the screen up here. There we go. So I'm calling this Conjuring Creation. Like he had said, I've spent the last almost decade of my life inventing magic tricks. So my job has quite literally been to bring impossible into fruition, right? And the only thing I can really add of value to your lives is tell you the thought process and the design process that I use when developing a magic trick. And it works a lot the same with startups. Now, sometimes startups will stumble upon a technology or a service that they think is good, and they'll try and find a market for it. When I'm designing magic tricks, it's always better for me personally to design what I want the effect to be and then build around that, and then the market will come, right? So I know what I exactly want the outcome to be, and then I'll build that in any way I can. So what I'm going to share with you is what's worked for me and why. So some of the items on here are things I've invented over the last 10 years. There's one in the top right for you, I believe it's called Decibel. Decibel is an effect where basically you can bring somebody up, have them think of their favorite song, and through a headphone cord, by just pinching the tip of their headphone cords, as they're thinking of the song in their brain, that song will then play in their own headphones. All right? So the idea of this was that I knew what was really special to people was the first song they fell in love with. Does everyone here know that first song that you really fell in love with? The one you kept on auto-repeat over and over again? For a lot of people, it holds a special place in their heart. So I wanted to design something around that. And through the development process, which I'll go over here briefly, is where Decibel came. And that's how I like to start all of my magic. It's to start with what I want the end feeling or emotion to be, right? Now, in the innovation space, one of the most important things that you can't get anywhere without is creativity. There wouldn't be any innovation without at least that first creative spark, right? So a big part of my job was to find that creative spark on a daily basis. See, the thing about the magic community is they're very picky people. We might have a few magicians in the audience, and I think they can all relate. It's not like a normal market. The magic community knows a lot of things, and they're very, very picky with their money. So the first thing you have to do is sell them a product. Hopefully they buy it, but then the thing after it is what's new. That's the thing in the magic world. What's the new thing? And so for the company we were working with, it was always about developing new ideas. So this is a little simple formula I use on the daily to help me come up with ideas so I don't forget them. The first one here is called IdeaPad. What IdeaPad is an app. It's an app you put on your phone. It's very simple. The design isn't very pretty, but what it accomplishes is amazing, which is allowing you to write down 10 ideas every day. It seems like a very simple thing, but once you get into the routine of jotting down 10 ideas every single day religiously, those ideas become better and better in time, and some of the best inventors in the world all say the same thing. To have a really good idea, have lots of ideas. The thing is, we all have lots of ideas, but we don't jot them down. Just show of hands here. Does anybody here jot down ideas that spark up their head every single day? Beautiful. Awesome. Not surprised in a group of innovators. That's great. But if you can get into a habit of it, if you have a daily ritual or a morning ritual and you add this 10 ideas every day, I promise you it will skyrocket your creativity. And it becomes fun the more you do it. Now keep in mind, a lot of these ideas will be complete crap. It's part of the game, right? You get through the bad ones to get the good ones. The second I call an emotional swipe, and this is something I personally do, which is again very easy in today's world. Everyone's got a cell phone that's got a camera on it. On that camera app, you make a folder, and I call my folder Badass, but call it whatever you want. And really, it's about anything that strikes me emotionally. I could be reading a passage in a book, and if I like something that was said, I'll take a photo of it. I could be driving by and see a billboard that's really funny. Good example of that, has anyone seen the Viagra ad with the magician? Show of hands. This is one of the best adverts I've ever seen. It's got this really old magician standing there, and there's a woman floating in front of him. It's a full-page ad with a little tiny thing in the bottom corner that says Viagra. You do the rest, right? But anytime I see something that engages me emotionally, I take a photograph of it. At the end of every month, I go through this swipe file, and there'll be things that still resonate with you or things that you've forgotten about. Everything that stays resonated with me, I put in another folder. It's an emotional swipe file, so anytime you're stuck, you're at a roadblock, or you need some sort of inspiration, you can go back to this and swipe through, and it really helps with inspiration. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people take for granted. A lot of the reason these people up here seemed so confident and so aware of what they were pitching is because they were inspired. They had true passion behind it. So I always try to not take that for granted. And the last part is to get interested. Always stay interested in things that you don't think you would need in your life. The more you know, the better off you'll be. So I try at least once every quarter, every 2 or 3 months, to find a magazine, a book, something on a topic I never thought I would enjoy. So right now I'm currently reading some articles on knitting. I'm not going to knit anything, but it gives me some insight into a field that I never would have thought of. And creativity is really about taking two weird things, combining them in a way that's never been done. What better way to do that than to start learning about more things that you have no idea about? So these are the things that I do. 3 simple things I try and do every single day is to write 10 ideas down, and they can be relationship ideas, business ideas, any idea that you've got, write at least 10 down. The second is to always, when you're inspired, jot that down. And with your phones today, it's very simple. Take a photo, put it in a special folder, and revisit that. And the last one is to stay interested in things that are outside of your norm, okay? So bringing impossible to fruition. This is how I do this personally as a magician. I always ask myself, what is the emotion? Where is the magic? Then I ideate the solutions to that and then make them care, right? So this is really about coming up with the idea, developing the idea, and then making sure in the development process of that idea that people are going to give a crap about it. Because at the end of the day, if you love something but no one else does, it's not going to do you much good. So what is the emotion is what I ask myself before launching any product. And when you're designing a magic trick specifically, you want to hit them emotionally. So if I can start my design process with saying, at the end of this effect, what's the emotion I want my audience to leave with? That's a great starting point. Because when you get to the end and you've got a product, you know there'll be an emotional hook. And you'll notice the very last one is make them care. Anyone who knows anything about marketing knows the best way to get somebody to buy is hit them in the heart. Make them care with your story. So I try and lead with that. What is the emotion? What's the end emotion that they're going to get after using my product? If you did the dating app, that was great. I loved that pitch. That's a beautiful end emotion, right? What better thing? People want to be loved. People want someone to love them. And now they're pairing this with challenges and creativity. I think that's a great example of leading with emotion. Where is the magic? To me, in a magic effect, usually there's a really small window of what the effect is. With the rope trick, the effect is there's 3 ropes that are different lengths, they become the same length, and they go back. That's the magic. So I focus my presentation on that. In any sort of pitch or any sort of product, especially if you're trying to get investors, just focus on that magic, the one thing. The problem is we spend so much time and energy with these projects, our head's all over the place. We love a million things about them. But when you really whittle it down to the one piece of magic, if you can focus your energy on that, it really helps clarify your pitch and also clarify the direction of your product. And I'd say everybody who was standing up here today did an awesome job of that. And I'm sure a lot of that is thanks to the help of the 360 Lab and the coaching that came along with it. Ideate solutions. This is the fun part for me. So how do you've got this idea, you know how you want your person to feel, and you know what the magic of your invention will be. How do you get there? How do you make this a reality? And this is the fun part for me. We'll go through these one at a time. The last one is make them care. So the emotion, at the end of the day, people want emotional connections. If you can connect with somebody, you can sell them something, they'll trust you more, and you'll make better connections along the way. I start with that, I go into where's the magic? What's the most important thing? Well, chances are you love everything about your product, from the team that developed it, to the idea, where it came from, where was the spark, what's the inspiration. At the end of the day, nobody cares. That's the reality. When you go to market with something, nobody cares about your stuff, where it came from, what it is. Yes, it's part of your brand message and your company message and mission statement, but they're just looking to buy or to have something add value to their life. Find the piece of magic and focus on it. Ideating solutions for me is starting with that dream. And the beautiful thing about inventing magic is I quite literally get to say what would be the coolest thing in the world. I would love to be able to say to somebody, think of any word in the world. They think of it in their brain, and I've predicted that word. Can we admit that would be pretty impressive? That's the dream. Well, I haven't done it yet, but I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's the dream. Then how do you get from the dream to reality? Think and ask. Network with the people. Nobody really comes up with great ideas on their own. They get the spark, and they use their team to build that. Hence 360 Labs, right? That's what it's all about. Connecting people with other ideas. Then you build it, you design it, you test it, you fail. Any startups here know that. You do it again, you fail again. You fail and fail and fail forward until you get to at least a close enough design to what you wanted to meet, hitting their emotion and where that piece of magic is. And sometimes it will lead you down a different road. I've designed a few things that it started with one idea, and through the design process, we realized you can't get there. So we're going to take advantage of the quickest way possible. And you'll see at the end, the last little trick I do, there's a little example of that. And repeat until you get there. There's a few questions you can ask yourself, right? Is this going to benefit somebody? Is this service going to benefit a corporation? There's a few questions, 5 or 6 questions that you can ask where you can go, okay, we need to stop with this idea because it's not meeting our requirements and move on to something else. Or yes, we've hit these. These are all things that are yeses, and we'll move on to the next part, which is trying to sell this product, right? Selling the product is make them care. People don't care about your solution. They don't care what it took to make it. They care about their problem. And the best way to connect with them is to show them that you know and you relate to their problem. Now, as a magician, I have to come up on stage and basically say, I'm going to fool you. I'm going to trick you, and I'm not going to tell you how it works. And hopefully you'll still like me when I leave, right? So I have to sell myself being a jerk at the end of the day, because no one wants to, oh, I met some guy and he just kept fooling me and deceiving me, right? So I have to try and show you that I care about what you care about, relate to you. It's the same with the marketing of your product. But if you set it from the start of knowing the emotion you want your end outcome to be, you're way, way ahead of that game, all right? So in this speech, my big claim to fame is called Pyro. It's a wrist-worn fire shooter. Has anyone heard of Pyro? Perfect, little humble pie for me, not a single one, 1 or 2, yeah, okay. So Pyro, I knew what my emotion was. I wanted to give the people the emotion of a superhero. I want them to feel like a superhero. What could we do? We could make them fly. We could make them read people's minds. We could make them shoot fireballs. That would be cool. And that's the one that stuck. So what we developed was Pyro, which allows you to show both hands empty, hold your hand out, and shoot real fireballs from your hand. It's awesome. I wish I could demo it, but you can't really shoot fire in a place like this. So the idea was starting with that emotion. It ended up becoming one of the best-selling magic tricks in all of the magic industry of all time. Over, I think, 70,000 units at this point for a magic trick that's unheard of, because it broke out of magic, because who doesn't want to be a superhero, right? And all the general public started buying it. But it went through this exact thought process. How do you make them care? Give them something they want. I want to be a superhero. How do you design it? I talk to the people in the industry that I know and outside industries. And from all of their advice, I learned what worked and what didn't. Then we had to talk to the lawyers to figure out how we could sell this safely. The marketing team, how are we going to leverage it? But combining all of that led to the product that became really my claim to fame, the biggest thing that I've ever done. And it's gone literally across the world, and thousands upon thousands of people get joy every day by shooting fireballs from their empty hands, right? So what I wanted to do to close today's talk was to do the most impossible thing I could think of, which was that you think of a word, and I'll tell you the word you're thinking of. So let's try it here. Hey, sir, how you doing? I didn't mean to wake you up. You good? I'm just kidding. What's your first name, sir? Zoltan. Zoltan? Yes. Is it? It's my middle name. Really? Not really. That would be cool. Zoltan, I want you to make your mind completely blank. Wow, that was quick. You did that very well, sir. I want you to think, we'll do English words because, where are you from, sir? Hungry. So let's keep it to an English word, but I'm going to have you make your mind blank. You're going to think of the first word that pops into your mind. Do you have a word in mind? Okay. Now, would you guys be impressed if the word that he's merely thinking of I had written on a piece of paper in my back pocket? Come on, guys. Any word in the world here, right? You have a word in mind, sir. Nice, loud, clear voice so everyone can hear. Name your word. Value. Value. Can you tell everyone here we didn't set this up? I didn't find you out there and say value. That's genuinely a word you just thought of. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, I said written on a piece of paper. In my back pocket would be the word that Zoltan thought of. Not exactly sure what page it's on, but it is in there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So this is the reference of when you're ideating solutions, this is a simple solution. How do you get something written on a piece of paper? I've solved the problem, but in a cheap way, right? What's cool, Zoltan, is if you take a look in that, you go to the word value, you'll notice it's the only word circled in red. Perfect, because it's not really circled in red. I'm not that good, sir. I do the gag for a reason. If you ask people to think of a word, men will think of about one of 100 words. Women will think about one of a different 100 words. Car, cat, dog, house, tree, value, things like that, right? I didn't want to limit that, so I have a couple things, but I need 2 people that can read pretty well without reading glasses. Sarah, right? Sarah, you're going to join me. Watch, everyone's going to clap for you. Watch this. Clap for Sarah as she comes up. Thank you so much. I'll have you stand right here if you don't mind. I need one more person. Sir, what's your name?
No, I can't.
Oh, you can't see very well? Okay, what's your name in the back there, sir? Jason. Jason? Great memory, Jason. Come on up. Everyone's going to clap for you. Clap for Jason. You could read pretty well without reading glasses?
Yeah.
Great. If you stand right there, I'm going to get you guys a couple things. This is my disappearing act. So to not influence you on the most common words, what I've done are I've brought books that have tens of thousands of words in here, okay? I don't want to limit you to the, it, then, the, those type of things. So, have either of you read the Da Vinci Code? You have? Did you like it? All right, well, I'll have you hold this one. Have you read The Shining? So here's a funny story, a little side note. When I was in about 8th grade, I had a girl that I had a big crush on. I said, oh, I'll have her over to my house. I'm going to watch a movie. I'm really going to win this over. And I decided to watch The Shining with her. Don't ever do that, ever, on a date. Worst movie to watch on a date ever, but it'll still serve its purpose. I'll have you guys look through, make sure they are what they appear to be. 2 books, The Shining and the Da Vinci Code. And if you could refresh my memory of your name, sir.
Jason.
Jason. And Sarah. What I'm going to have you do, Jason, I'm going to limit you a little bit. Both of you are going to think of words, but these are going to be big words, like 7, 8, 9, 10 letters. I don't want it, then, the small stuff. Big words. For you, Jason, there's going to be, and don't think of character names, if there's character names. I want you to find a line that's in quotations, so it could be characters speaking, but somewhere in the line of quotations, find a big word. Does that make sense to you? Do that for me now. Sarah, I'm not going to limit you as much. Still a large word, 7 or more letters. Any page, any word, tilt the books up a little bit, guys. When you've got the word, just close the book for me. Any word you want, Sarah, any page. You have a word, sir? I'll take the book. Thank you very much. And tell me when you've got one, Sarah. You have a word? Beautiful. I'll take the book as well. Don't forget. Yeah, if you forget, we don't have much of a trick at the end, all right? Now, this is what we're going to do. I need to warm up a bit. I need to get my mentalist juice flowing. So, Sarah, the word you're thinking of, think of the first letter of that word. For instance, if it was alphabet, that's an A. I want you to think of an animal that begins with the first letter. If it was alphabet, it could be ape, it could be armadillo, anything like that. When you've got an animal in mind, just say, I've got one. You have one. You have an animal in mind that begins with the first letter of your word. Beautiful. Send the animal to me. Don't say anything. In your mind, send it to me, like a visual representation of your animal. Beautiful. Sarah, you are doing a great job. Now, you guys will notice I'm a much better magician than artist, but this should do the job. Nice, loud, clear voice. What's the animal you're thinking of? A dog? Hedgehog. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, Hedgehog. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a gift, something I was born with, I think. Stay right there. And if you guys could step on the black things here. Sorry, that's my fault. I'll have you stay there. This is what it's going to sound odd, but imagine I'm a whiteboard. I'm standing at the back of the room, and in your mind, you're writing the word on a whiteboard, one letter at a time. When you get to the end of your word, go back to the beginning. Do that now, one letter at a time. Good, good, good. Yep. When you get to the end, go back to the beginning. Good, good, good. Okay. I'm going to show some people. Can you guys read that? Everyone read that word? There's about 100,000 words in that book. She picked one. Nice, loud, clear voice. What word are you thinking of? Half-heartedly, yes! Very cool. Very good job. Well done, well done. You can have a seat. Thank you so much. Good start. That's a good start. All right. Half-heartedly. I can already tell you're going to be difficult. Here we go. All right. If you stand right there for me. Same idea. This time I'm not a whiteboard. I'm a chalkboard. How old are you?
28.
So you don't know about this. But back in the day in school, teachers would write with this stuff called chalk on the chalkboard. So imagine hearing it all. Imagine everything back there. That's me on a chalkboard, one letter at a time. Please do that now. Good, good, good. This is great. Now, this is a word you picked out. It's not like a date or a driver's plate license or anything. It was a word.
Yep.
Huh. This is a little weird. I'll show you what I got. Does that mean anything? Don't say your word. This way? Nothing? Do you want to see a coin trick? I know a hell of a coin trick. No? Yeah. Okay. What was your word?
Unthinkable.
So here's the thing, guys. In life, in magic, in just about everything we do, there was a pitch here, and she talked about that inherently we have unconscious bias. It's very true. You see somebody, you instantly judge them, you think you know something about them, so you act differently towards them. And a lot of times that enables you, or it makes it so you can't dig deeper and really find out who this person is, right? And it's really a bad thing. If you don't take a minute to get past that face value, you don't look deeper, you'll never find the magic. So next time you meet somebody or somebody's pitching you an idea or you're just in conversation, try and get past the immediate justification or judging them and go deeper into the magic. That's where the real impossibility will lie. And that's what we're going to do right here. Right now this says 374R1. It means nothing unless we dig a little bit deeper. Your word again was unthinkable.
Yep.
Sir, you've had that dictionary. Could you open that dictionary to page 374? If you can't see very well, hand it to someone that can. Open that dictionary to page 374. In that dictionary, there are right and left-hand columns. When you get on page 374, go to the right-hand column. The very first word, 374, right-hand column. Say it as loud as you can, please. There's right and left-hand column, yes? Go to the right-hand column, the very first word at the top of the page. Unthinkable, thank you. Give them a round of applause. Thank you so much, my friend. Cheers. Thank you very much. All right, so that was my fault. I picked you. That's my fault. I'll take the dictionary back. Thank you, sir. You guys have been great. So I'll leave this last one up here if we can get that up there. 3, 2, 1. That's why I do card tricks and stuff. There's going to be some contact information up there. A few things that I'm working on currently. I'm a firm believer in the idea of creativity, especially in children. If you can, yeah, that's got all my information. Please reach out. Give me a shout and email. Would love to discuss anything that you guys have questions with. My big next venture is called Creative Kiddos. And this is a platform where parents can learn to be more creative as parents and also gives them tools, games, tips, tricks, and ideas to raise their children in a creative manner through magic. My thought process is if you can learn what we preach to children all the time, anything you believe you can achieve, right? Anything you think up, you can make a reality. As a magician, that's my job. So my goal is to help children invent magic tricks, to help them be more social, be more articulate, but also to understand deeply that what we tell them is true. If you're convicted about something and if you believe in it enough, then you absolutely can make that a reality. And I think a lot of these startups are proof of exactly that. The stuff they do is extremely hard. This isn't just, oh, I had a cool idea and now we're going to make it happen. There's years and years of blood, sweat, and tears put into it. And I'd love to help inspire the youth and the younger generations to always hold on to that creativity and imagination. So if you'd like to learn anything about that, hit me up here. And on a final note, one more thank you for having me here. It's been a true honor. My name's Adam-Wilber, and you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much.
Give it up loud! Make some noise!
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Adam-Wilber!
Thanks, man.
Adam. Very impressive,
Thank you,
I
buddy.
must say. I had a good time. Now, before we get to the questions, I'm pretty sure some of you have some questions, and I think we should switch back to Nina in the green room. Or I don't know if Nina's there, but I know we have a camera there to take a look at the judges. Exactly, they're still debating, seeing what's going on. All right, so we'll give them a couple more minutes, which gives us, again, a few minutes to answer some questions. So let's see about your questions. Here we go. If you could give one advice to every startup in the show, what would it be?
I would have to say, be as authentic as you possibly can. Be a human, right? Don't overpitch, don't oversell. Like I said, know your magic moment. Know the piece of magic and be a human about it. What is it going to do to add value to people's lives? And if you can focus on that, then I think that's the best, at least, starting point.
All right, hope you answered that question. Next up, what was the most magical moment in your life? Oh, that's a good one.
So I'm a father of two, and anyone who's a parent knows, the most magical moment is every single day. There's things as they grow older that just blow you away. So the most magical moment of my life is just about every day when I spend time alone with my children.
Nice answer. All right. Next up, any more questions? What was your biggest challenge, and how did you overcome it?
It's a tough question. It's a good question. My biggest challenge, my biggest challenge probably was to figure out a way to live my dream. I knew I loved magic my whole life, but it's not easy to make, first of all, a living as an entertainer, but certainly not as an inventor of magic. So I would say the biggest challenge was probably setting a goal to make a real living in this field of magic that I loved, and then achieving that.
Any more questions? Are you nervous before a show? And how do you overcome stage fear?
Yeah, I'm nervous before every show. I think that's human nature. And one of my mentors said the absolute best way to overcome any sort of stage fright is first and foremost be overprepared. Know the first line that you're going to say, get that first line out, and let the rest flow. A lot of stage fright comes from lack of preparation.
Right.
And then secondly, just knowing that you're adding value to the people you're speaking to. A very famous magician named Harry Blackstone would stand behind stage at every show, and he would literally just say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, to every member of the audience, at least in his mind. Then he would go out on stage knowing that this is about me sharing my love or my passion or whatever I'm going to help add value to your life. And then it's not so much about them against you, right? It's all, we're kind of in this together.
Do you have a ritual?
I do.
Can you share it?
Absolutely not. A little bit personal.
All right.
I will say one thing I read in a book is a great tip. If you are really nervous, you can stand on your tippy toes, tense your entire body as hard as you can for 3 seconds, and then slam down and release. And do that 4 times before you walk on stage. It's going to trick your brain a little bit, and it will calm you down. But if you're not prepared, none of that's going to matter anyway, because you'll sound like a babbling fool. So just be over-prepared.
All right, all right. Any other questions? Think we have time for 1 or 2 more? Yes. Do you think everybody can be creative? Well, I guess so. And how can one support creativity in his life?
That's great. Absolutely, yes. I mean, anybody alive is creative, right? That's how children get through life. They use their creativity to figure stuff out. I think creativity is not a skill. That's what people assume, that you're born creative or you're not. Absolutely, there are people that are inherently more creative than others. But creativity is something, it's a habit. And if you keep practicing it more and more, like anything, you'll become better at it. I'm not saying you'll all become Einstein or something, but the people and the departments or the organizations that have this, in the States, we say it a lot. You've got your marketing department, you've got your finance department. These are the creative departments, and these aren't. And that's such a horrible thing, because now if you're in finance, well, I'm just not creative. Well, do you know how much money you could save with your finance department thinking and acting creatively? So absolutely, as you grow older in life, there are things you can do. Things as simple as writing 10 ideas down. Oh, I hit a nerve with someone. I see that. Write 10 ideas down a day, right? Pay attention to creativity and actively practice it, and you will inherently become more creative.
Adam, thank you very much for joining us here today, for sharing your knowledge,
Cheers.
sharing your experiences. Let's give it up one more time.
Thank you guys very much.
Adam-Wilber.